On behalf of all assembled here today, I should now like to invite our newest alumnus, Dr. Jonathan Meakins, to address Convocation.
Mr. Chancellor, President Chakma, fellow graduates, faculty, parents, and friends, I thank you for the honor you do me. I'm grateful to Western for my MD in 1966, but particularly for, as the French would say, ma formation, the introduction to the world of medicine, a reflection of what Dr. Gervin was getting at. Today's second degree, without having to study or pass a test, is really the icing on the cake. You, the graduates, represent a broad range of disciplines and stages in your educational pathways, including bachelor's degrees from Huron College, master's and doctorates from the School of Graduate and Postgraduate Studies, in a wide range of disciplines, and the bachelor's degrees in kinesiology. I would first like to congratulate you on your achievements, a critical step in realizing the university's motto, veritas et utilitas, truth and usefulness. The idea of usefulness is very rewarding. Secondly, I would like to recognize your graduation with some thoughts which might be of use in your coming journeys. Personally, I have found the preparation for today to be stimulating, demanding thought to provide relevance to you, and it has given me the opportunity to crystallize some ideas about my own voyage to the present time. These observations will, I hope, speak to your accomplishments and be relevant to your future. That having been said, I do believe that free advice is worth what it costs. At any rate, these free ideas will be integrated and intertwined with one of the diversions that kept me productive, beekeeping. The beehive is a single organism being made up of tens of thousands of worker bees in an organized hierarchy, a few drones and the matriarch, a queen. Their activity is towards a common goal, or I like to say better, a common good, which is the survival of the hive through the winter, so that it can reproduce by swarming in the spring and thereby creating another colony, and therefore the hive bifurcates in a sense. No individual bee benefits from the production of honey, but the species does by the creation of a second colony. Opening the hive on a warm June day like today is an existential experience. The bees are going about their business, paying no attention to the human observer. The calm is evident. The sound is middle C. Every bee has a task. There is effectively a promotion system over their short lives as each worker moves through the hierarchy to become a forager. What possible relevance could the beehive be to your upcoming adventures? Well, I believe that the concepts of the common good and professionalism are integral to the function of the hive, although I have no doubt the bees are unaware that this parallel could be drawn. In looking back, I have always studied my teachers, leaders, and chiefs, starting when I was a student here at Western, through residency, graduate school, and then as a faculty member. Early on, it became apparent that the role models were a helpful roadmap, not only for learning the ropes, interacting with others, observing problem solving, but also for demonstrating how to comport oneself effectively in a variety of situations. Actually, more important were the models who you did not want to be like, whose style, or more often their orientation, was directed to their own wants and needs rather than those of their unit or department. Having spent my life in hospitals and universities, I have observed, as I no doubt you have, that not all units, divisions, or departments are of the same quality, are as functional, have common goals, or indeed direction. In these units, it is a leadership as well as a follower problem. So that means when working for the common good, the entire unit needs to function in an integrated manner. The entity must have coherent vision, sound recruiting, and a leader who's working for the benefit of all. It is remarkable that when a unit does well, everybody does well. Working for the common good has significant benefits for everybody, not unlike the hive, which reproduces by swarming in the spring because of the work of last year's bees, now long dead. Plato's student Aristotle, considered by many to be the father of the idea of a common good, distinguishes between right constitutions, which are in the common interest, and wrong constitutions, which are in the interest of rulers. This dichotomy can easily be seen in today's world on the large political stage. However, Aristotle also applied the idea of a common good to the advantage or benefit of all people in a smaller society or in a group or unit. This easily takes us back to the two different role models outlined earlier, the right and wrong constitutions. Hussein's analogy is the community we associate with good universities like Western. And I quote, "The university community is bound together in a social relationship marked by a certain form of mutual concern." This can be applied to all forms of groups. I've always wanted the Department of Surgery in which I was involved to share the vision of a common good, where the whole was greater than the sum of the parts, like a beehive. As you might imagine, managing surgeons is a bit like herding cats. They are fiercely independent, certain of the way they should do things, their way. And the challenge was always to modify individualistic, self-serving behavior in return for establishing equitable and fair systems for the distribution of resources, such as operating time, laboratory space, secretarial support, grant support, beds, academic opportunities, and so on, that provided benefit for the department as a whole rather than for particular individuals. It turned out, actually, that model was possible, both in Montreal and Oxford. And beehives work that way. The concepts related to the common good extend to professionalism. A frequent odd-head complaint is the apparent general decline in professionalism, egregious examples amongst many being the Arthur Andersen accounting firm and Enron, and the Wall Street banking activities leading to the financial crisis of 2008. Major professional bodies have also been accused of self-serving attitudes. The hallmark of a profession is that society allows professions to be self-regulating. A glance at the website of the College of Kinesiologists of Ontario makes it clear that ethics and disciplinary activities are their responsibility. Society has expressed concern that in many instances the professional body's process was both slow and the penalties modest. The Western Medical School class of 1966 was sufficiently concerned about professionalism in medicine to mark our 50th anniversary of graduation with the creation of an award for the student who throughout the curriculum best demonstrated the qualities of professionalism. This was accompanied by a sculpture, now at the entrance to the medical school, highlighting 7 Canadians and Hippocrates, who exemplified model professional behavior. 3, Banting, Drake, and McWhinney, are all closely associated with Western. The creation of the award did 3 things. The sculpture in the foyer is a daily reminder of the importance of professionalism. The student award recognizes its value publicly. And finally, the faculty must create a component of the student assessment incorporating professionalism. This day has been a rewarding experience for me. remembering the pleasures of beekeeping and its model of social behavior, remembering the concept that if you don't care who gets the credit, it's amazing what you can do, and linking common good with professionalism in a microenvironment to the benefit of all. In addition, I never thought I would read, much less quote, Rex Tillerson, the recently fired Trump Secretary of State. However, in his VMI commencement address, he said, quote, "Carefully consider the values and cultures of the organization in which you seek to work. Look for employers who set high standards for ethical conduct. These values are clearly related to the common good and professionalism while reflecting veritas, a utilitas, Western's motto." One last bee reference. You will catch more flies with honey than vinegar. In closing, congratulations to you all, and in all your future endeavors, may the road rise to meet you and the wind always be at your back. Thank you.